a strangely timed episode of The Independents. Welcome back. It is today's Monday report. I'm coming in at a strange time because one, we are super snowed in here in New Hampshire, so I don't feel like figuring out how to get to the Quills podcast studio for today's recording, which would usually take place at 6. And two, I have a 4 o'clock board meeting for the Free State Project. That's our monthly standing meeting. And so I kind of want to get this out of the way before that. So thank you. I hope everyone is having an incredible snow day. I mean, it's going to be a lot, guys. It's going to be a lot. But today is the week of January 26th. We are a week and a day out from Porcupine Day. So can you all please go buy your Porc Day tickets? I am going to try a few different things here and try and do a screen share and sort of show you guys some of this stuff. So I'm probably going to end up looking like an idiot on some of these, I'm going to be looking at a different screen, but bear with me. So here we go. First of all, I want to show you guys. All right. So Porc Day is coming up in 8 days, 3 hours, and 8 minutes and 55 seconds. All right. Why should you come to Porc Day? You should come to Porc Day if you love liberty, if you love the Free State, if you love what I have been doing over the years, because this is the one thing I still produce. It is the 10th annual Porcupine Day. So Porcupine Day is when we triggered the move. We had a giant press conference over at the Radisson and now named some other hotel. And so you need to go to community.fsp.org event/Porc Day X. All right. So what can you expect on that day? You can connect. You can meet Free Staters and Porcupine movers and shakers from across the state. We come from all over. We gather for one night. It's on a Tuesday. It's at Bedford's and Murphy's. Super convenient. There's parking lots. It is usually Taproom Tuesday. So everyone, hey, from Taproom Tuesday, just come over to Porc Day. You will be able to celebrate good food, drinks, laughter, and liberty vibes. We can reflect and honor our community. I will be giving out the inaugural first ever Live Free and Thrive Lifetime Achievement Award. So come see who's going to get that one. And of course, you can help support the efforts of what we are doing here in New Hampshire. So if you want to help fuel the next chapter of New Hampshire's freedom movement, come. When is it? It's next Tuesday, February 3rd, I believe it's actually from 5 to 9 p.m. So we'll be there. We'll be around. Come on over as it's convenient to you. Around 7 o'clock, we will have remarks and maybe a little speechifying and the award. There'll be finger foods. The VIPs get a drink ticket and a keepsake. That's $100 or for $50, which literally just covers your food at this stage, guys. Although this is supposed to be a fundraiser. If you're a Porcupine patron to the Free State Project, then you can wear your Porcupine pin to get a free drink at registration. And if you are not a patron yet, why not? You can become one by going to fsp.org/give. So this is in a week and a day's time. So if I seem a little stressed about the whole thing, that is why. All right. Next, I want to show you guys our fantastic newsletter. So are you getting the Free State newsletter? If you're not, you're missing out because Mr. Eric does a really remarkable job on it. So this is the newsletter, the Porcupine Post newsletter. Came out Sunday, yesterday. Comes from Eric. And here are a few things that were highlighted. Last week was Happy Freedomversary to Ross. So Ross Ulbricht, who many of you know, we actually champion here in the Free State, Porc Fest, and me specifically was the first people to platform Lynn. Free Talk Live was very instrumental in helping to spread that story. And so it was 1 year last week to see 1 year since we saw Ross walk free. So this success builds on a decade of support from Free Staters and the Porcupine Freedom Festival and Liberty Forum. I actually think Lynn came to Liberty Forum before PorcFest. Maybe it was PorcFest and Liberty Forum, but I think they were very close together. I specifically remember the Liberty Forum one because that was in 2016. It was our Trigger the Move event. I actually spoke to Ross Cold from prison. I personally spoke to him that day. And 2016, of course, was such an epic year because that is the year we triggered the move. And for 10 years since then, we have been triggering status. Another reason to get your Porcupine Day 10 tickets on February 3rd. So join us for our 10th annual celebration. It's awesome to announce that the Liberty Candidates Practical Guide to Door Knocking has come out. That is Eric Brakey, our executive director's new effort. And it is a book that you can order in order to help support the Free State and the efforts here in our great state of New Hampshire. More Liberty Forum speakers being announced. So very exciting to say that Elizabeth Nolan Brown is to speak at the 2026 New Hampshire Liberty Forum. She is the senior editor at Reason, and she'll join us on the Friday main stage. Other speakers there also include Scott Horton from the Libertarian Institute and a great voice on anti-war stuff. And the dialogue series put together by our founder, Jason Sarin. So there's going to be a whole bunch of really awesome stuff going on. So go buy first your PorcFest ticket, Porc Day tickets, and then your Liberty Forum tickets. What else was here in the newsletter? So there's a Porcupine patron update. We now have over 280 Porcupine patrons. These are the people who are fundamentally giving a little bit of money every month to kind of just bolster our coffers as we build out the organization. What is coming up on Valentine's Day? Well, guys, Robbie the Fire Bernstein will return to the Shell. I missed last year. I forget if there was a storm or if I was traveling or something, but I'm definitely going to try and make it to this one. The Shell, of course, is our liberty activist community clubhouse center out on the Free Coast. Robbie the Fire Bernstein, very funny comedian. He has come out before. He, often appears with Dave Smith and stuff. Robbie is very, very, very funny, and I can't wait to see his show. That will be, of course, on Valentine's Day, which is February 14th, 4 days before my birthday. All right. There was a debate. What does a libertarian society require a majority Christian population? That was hosted at the Independence Inn, and you can watch that easily with a link if you get the newsletter. If not, you got to go find it. So here is just a great little visual of Ross leaving prison. He was leaving with Leif Erikson, which of course was the plant he had that he was growing. And this is just a great little screen grab because we have the Free State Project saying, "Happy Freedomversary, Ross." And then I chimed in as well and said, "I can only imagine the overwhelming joy. Happy Freedomversary," with a nice little plant. So this was 11 years ago. This was where she found her first support. And so let me see if I can pull this up. I did share it on my profile earlier today. Let's see. Yeah, I might be able to do this. So let's see if we could play this.
Here I am with my family on a family reunion last September. 2 weeks later, Ross was arrested for being the creator and operator of the Silk Road website. And my life was changed forever.
Is there anywhere on earth where a man can still be free? Will he bear the
Now, you might have heard of a sadistic thug who casually orders murders for hire. I don't know who that person is or even if he actually exists, but I do know that it is not my son, Ross. Ross is kind, compassionate. He's one of the most non-violent people you'll ever meet. He loves life. He has very high standards, and he lives by those, even when it's hard.
My son Ross is serving double life plus 40 years without the possibility of parole in a maximum security prison for all nonviolent charges, first-time offender, no history of violence whatsoever.
He's one of you and he needs your help. We cannot fight this alone. We're one family. We're not rich. The government is rich and very powerful and relentless. We can't fight alone.
An artist and philosopher.
It was Porc Fest who gave me the chance. It was Porc Fest that had the faith to, give me a voice.
Hey, Porc Fest. I got some bad news recently. It seems that the feds want to hold on to me a little longer, so I couldn't make it this year. I'm disappointed, but not discouraged. Life goes on, and my struggle for freedom goes on. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, once said, "It's not events themselves that disturb people, but their judgments about them. In every moment, we have the choice to rise above the events of our lives, to choose love over hate, and be good to one another." In the days to come, I won't forget all the love and support this community has given me over the years, and I'll continue to draw strength from you, as I hope you can draw strength from me.
I do not believe this is right. I don't believe it's American or in conjunction with our values, and have put up a petition at freeross.org/petition asking the president to commute this draconian, barbaric sentence.
It's about this broader question of whether or not we have freedom on the internet. He was the canary in the coal mine that proved that free people using technology could circumvent government intervention.
The young man has spent 7 years in prison. There are people who commit murder who haven't spent as much time in prison as Ross has. He spent 7 years in prison. He will spend his life in prison if the president doesn't do something right now.
And I really do believe this, that Ross will be here with you. I think it's going to be next year. If it's not next year, it will be at Porc Fest at some point.
And I feel like something's changed, but I can't put my finger on it.
It's just this thing. I think my son is out of prison. Amazing. Miracle. Miracle.
His family never gave up. His mother never gave up. Not only did Lynn never give up, but we never gave up. With President Trump's return to office, justice was finally done. Ross received a full and unconditional pardon.
Fire inside that burns in you and me, and the truth denied.
My heart is overflowing right now. We go way back, even though we're meeting for the first time, we go way back because, when I got arrested all those years ago, it just turned my life upside down, and it turned my family's life upside down. My mother knew me, and she got out there and started talking to people, and the most receptive ears that she found were right here in Porc Fest. You were our first kernel of support. It started here. It started to grow into a movement here. You guys never abandoned me. You never doubted me. You were there the whole time, like no one else. And I just thank you so much. Thank you.
We set Ross Ulbricht free. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Free Ross. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Free.
So there you have it. That was a beautiful video made by the Free the People folks. Of course, Matt and Terry Kibbe, wonderful supporters to the Free State over the years as well. I do think that message that Ross said there is something that's really important, that as everyone gets super dialed up about who's right, about what is going on, choose love over hate. Maybe if we can make that our flavor and remind ourselves that that is the right frequency to be running through life, that would be helpful. The other thing I want to point out is how important it was that so many people held the energy and held the frequency of knowing Ross was going to get out of prison. Lynn said it there in the video. I believe Ross will be at Porc Fest one day, if not this year, another year. But I too actually always believed that that would happen. And I think that that belief and just everyone kind of coming together in an understanding of a travesty of justice made it possible that that miraculous thing actually happened. Now, it was interesting. I was doing the Independence After Hours on Friday nights. We do that from 7 p.m. on. And this coming Friday, there will be Where It All Began Part 2. So last week, if you missed that, you can find it on my YouTube channel. It was where I had an episode with my lawyer, Seth Hippel. We talked in a very freewheeling style about the court case itself. This, of course, was a First Amendment, First Circuit. So the First Circuit is the circuit. There are 9 of them, and they're right below the Supreme Court in Boston, that affirmed the right to film police officers in the execution of their duties. I think we should start using a different verb than the execution of their duties, because they are now literally just going around executing people. So maybe that is part of the hack that needs to happen there. But this coming Friday, 7 p.m., Where It All Began Part 2, where we will talk about confiscated cameras, pussies and pizzas, and all kinds of other stuff. Now, what can you do for me? You can go and buy your Porc Day tickets right now. Let me see if I can find the right screen this time. And you need to go, yep, there you go, community@fsp.org/event Porc Day X. So here's the good news is you can use the following code for 10% off. Look, the tickets are only $50 or $100. That's basically just covering our costs with a little maybe upside on the VIP. But even though that is the case, Porcupine Real Estate is going to be one of our sponsors. So Porcupine Real Estate is sponsoring for 10% off tickets. So that is use code PREPD26, meaning Porcupine Real Estate, Porc Day 26, meaning it is the 2026 for 10% off. PREPD26 for 10% off of your Porc Day tickets coming up next Tuesday. All right, what else do I want to tell you guys? Let's see what we have in our links here. Let me share. Let's go back to the newsletter for just a second. So we just played you that video. Here is some photos from that. I'm just making sure everyone can see things and I'm doing it the right way. All right, then 9 days. So that was yesterday. Now it is 8 days until Porcupine Day. So Porcupine Day is coming up. I'm going to keep saying it. Porc Fest X. Look at that great little design. 10 years of triggering our statist neighbors. So general admission $50, VIP admission $100. Great way to support the Free State Project. I mentioned the guide to door knocking. Here we go with Eric's new book that is out from the Honorable Eric Brakey. Wonderful news. All right. We are going to have Elizabeth Nolan Brown at Liberty Forum coming up March 5th through the 8th. So be sure to buy those tickets as well. It'll be Building Freedom is the theme, and it is in Concord, New Hampshire at the Grapponi Center. All right, so I think that is all I want to tell you guys about that. Then I'm going to share this tab, double check. So what is coming up in the state this week? If you are interested in politics, you have to go to nhlibertyforum.org, where you will find all the great work that the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is doing. So look here. So bill hearings for the week of January 26th, that is this week. So there are 34 hearings where you can read more over here. And this will tell you what exactly is going on, what the positions are to take on the various bills. Here are oppose all of these bills, for example, and then there are bills that are of interest. Then there are bills we should oppose, and then there are bills that one should support. So here, for example, is HB 1306 relative to the counting of absentee ballots. So, okay, this, so anyway, so as you can see, a lot going on. While I have everyone's attention, I will tell you that last week up at the State House was very busy. I went up on Wednesday for a whole bunch of bills to do with right to know. I was surprised, and as I said on the Thursday, the Independence show, I was surprised by the turnout and sort of the pushback on some of them. And so that was interesting. But then the one I was really excited about, and that I think did a good job on, was House Bill 1441. That came up at 1 p.m. on Friday. It was in front of the Veterans Committee. It was a bill to encourage creating a study commission to see and explore the viability or feasibility of creating a sovereign state in New Hampshire. So it is a pro-independence bill in the sense that I'm pro-independence, but the bill itself simply says, hey, let's look at these questions. Why not? Now, I'm going to go show you guys a couple of the questions I received. And then let's see, I think it's over here. So this is my website, right? So if you haven't been on my website, carlagarrick.com, you're missing out because there's always something interesting. I post on most days, right? So here's all my crazy art projects from Instagram. I was bored at the car wash kind of art, and some clips from various things. But here is what I posted after Friday's event. So independence starts with honest assessment. So activism falls under activism, falls under fullest practical effort, and there's a video. Okay, so this was pushed out by Nexit Now. Please go follow them if you are not already doing that. That's interesting that it's showing up like that, because I definitely do follow them. Probably got pulled off because it, strange things are constantly happening. So if you want to watch the entire hearing, you can click on this button on my website, carlagarrick.com. Independence starts with honest assessment. But here are a couple of clips. And so I'm going to play this one.
You're asking for body of the United States, us, to vote, come up with recommendations that in effect asks for how to secede from the United States.
No, I'm asking you to pass a bill that will create a study commission that has some state representatives, some members of the public, some senators, and some business people on it that would come back with recommendations. There was, as Representative Bailey testified, there was actually a complaint that was put in with the Board of Elections, if I remember right. I'm not going to have the right committee, that said said he should get removed as a state representative, and the original 13 legislators who voted for the original bill should all be removed and should never be able to run for office. Our New Hampshire Department of Justice came out. They said it isn't treasonous, it isn't traitorous, it is just a discussion. We believe in the First Amendment in this country. We should be able to explore ideas. We shouldn't be so afraid of things, and we should try and come up with solutions to problems before they become insurmountable.
So there you have it. That was just one of the questions that I had to field. Now, to be fair, we actually, I gave probably about 5-6 minutes of written testimony, and you can find that on my website, carlagarrick.com as well. And then had probably about 20-25 minutes of just questions from the committee members. It was a very respectful discussion. I noted that the chair asked several of the other people who testified in favor. There were 4 people who testified in favor, including the bill sponsor, Glenn Bailey, and there were one person from Nashua who testified against it. Several of the committee members actually expressed interest in the topic. It seemed kind of bipartisan, to be honest. I think there were some freshman legislators who were like, oh, I've never heard of this. This sounds interesting. The questions sort of went from, will you accept this? Let's see if that one is actually on here. I forget if it was this one. I think it was.
National debt potentially reaching a certain amount could be an inciting event for an eventual secession, but I'm curious if there are any other events or circumstances under which you think it would be appropriate for this New Hampshire to secede.
Well, I think the circumstances to put it on the ballot and let the granite staters of our great state decide that for themselves. I mean, that's where I'm coming from, right? I think different people will have different reasons, but I can assure you it will probably be economic, because the reality is, I don't know if you guys noticed this. I just noticed it because I stopped at the bank. Have you guys noticed how we've gone from $20 bills to $50 bills without so much as a blink? If you're at an ATM now, you're not getting $20 bills, you're getting $50 bills. Now, my dad was in the Foreign Service, and I spent time in Brazil in the 90s, where the money literally from one vacation to the next became worthless. My sister and I used to go up on the roof and make paper airplanes out of the last vacation's money and throw them off the roof. And that is what is happening here with a $20 to a $50 jump, because that is inflation, because $20 doesn't buy anything anymore. And now you need $50 for that little fast food run. And that is a reality.
So I don't know why I said reality. Sometimes your mouth's going so fast that your brain can't catch up, or the other way around. So I think that was everything I wanted to cover for today. The things you should take away here. One, what? Buy your Pork Day tickets. Yes, Carla. Yes, Carla. Pinky swear I will. Use PREPD26 for 10% off. On Wednesday, I was going to have Melissa Bailey, a new candidate for Senate, on the Independents at the Cable Access show, but she has to move that. So I will probably come up with some other hack for that show. I've already told you guys on Friday, 7 p.m., the Independents After Hours will be another deep dive into the Ware incident of 2010. Why am I harping on this incident? Because, one, the reason we can see these footages of executions by armed forces on American soil is because of that court case, or at least partly because of it. My court case Garrick versus Began has been cited over 70 times in other lawsuits over the years. It was a landmark First Amendment, First Circuit lawsuit that said two important things. One is it doesn't matter if your camera works or not. If you're trying to record or you're trying to bear witness, then that's good enough. And two, if the officers take your footage, take your phone, anything, they do not have qualified immunity. It is a First Amendment protected right. And the reason for that was so that we could, in the true sense of the word, bear witness by creating evidentiary stuff. Now, here's the reality I did not think we would be in 2026, where you can go online to social media and suddenly be like, how has the dysregulation in people's noggins become so pronounced that I watch people who should know better, who should have better principles, who should understand the law better, and understand just from a human decency perspective that if there is a dead human, then we should hold people accountable. And everyone's got an opinion about whether it's justified or not. But the core issue where we should be starting is, why is there a dead person? And, I tweeted this out yesterday, but so far, I think the best evidence I have that we are either being deeply manipulated or actually truly in a simulation is that the two names out of Minnesota now is pretty and good. So somehow now everyone's talking about things being pretty good. And I don't know if that is the case. So I want to leave you guys with just a little wisdom from someone who's been doing this a long time, is you'll do a lot better in life if you operate from first principles. What do I mean by that? That means you don't get swayed by whatever the flavor of the day is, and you don't just support your team because it's your team. What you should be supporting is morality and ethics, and actually being like, this was a fuck up. This is probably nuanced. There is probably, probably to blame. Maybe everyone's bearing a little blame. But what you should do is remember, that's just your opinion, man. So maybe everyone can get their egos a little out of the mix for these things, and just understand that all of us should be troubled about militarized police actions taking place on the streets of America, where people are now being executed on camera, and whoever's team's hat is like, well, now it's okay. Well, no, it's not. So I'm going to be writing a op-ed to encourage Minnesota to secede, and hopefully that'll get some traction and give us an opportunity to talk about the great work we are all doing up here in the Free State. The Free State of New Hampshire, where the live free or die tradition still runs deep and strong. And as I go to get ready for my board meeting starting at 4:00, I hope to walk in with at least 10 new ticket sales, thanks to PREPD26 for your 10% off. And I hope that everyone remembers that the concentration strategy here in New Hampshire is working. It works better when we're all working together. It works better when we're working together for good and not ego or evil, which seems to be the distraction. And with that, I will see everyone back here on Wednesday. And I wish you peace, love, and understanding. I'll see everyone back again next week. Bye.